go. Likkutei Torah, Parshas Pinchas, page 154. Probably like 15 lines in the end of the page, on the first column. Okay, the Rebbe is asking on the Pasuk Savas Bnei Yisrael v'amarta aleim. The Rebbe asks, why does it say twice v'amarta? One place says takriva, one place it says tas. Anyway, so he starts explaining. The Rebbe asks a question: what is the purpose of the neshama coming down into the world? So he started explaining that before Hashem created the world, hayahu shmei bilvad, meaning the shmei, even the level of malchus that created the world, was one with Hashem, like the ray of the sun and the sun. So nothing existed but the sun. Nothing existed except Elokus. Then Hashem made the tzimtzum, and then He created the world. Now the world is yesh me'ayin, and the function of a Jew is to create back from the yesh into an ayin. And like we're discussing, not that he says it, but we're discussing, that's the chiddush of Nesav HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Leidira B'Tachtenim. Hashem had a taiva for a dwelling place down here. What's the uniqueness? Like you said, what's the enjoyment of all this? The enjoyment of this is something out of the ordinary. Like Tzipah Medaberes or B'chal. So it says Hashem created a world of Yesh Me'ayin with the purpose that we should make from the Yesh back into the Ayin. Meaning it should be show that it's really godliness. So he says now, V'chochme Reish Hagilui. Chochme is the first level of Hishtaushlis. But to make Yesh back into Ayin, it says Davar Chodosh V'Shinei HaTeva. That we said. Now the Rebbe has explained that's something new. It's something new. It's entertaining. Like he said, what's the primary enjoyment and entertainment? Is Mishinoi V'Yitzchachus, something new. So how do you entertain kings and nobles and dukes? You always have to come up with a new idea, a new type of entertainment. It should be Eis Shini V'Yitzchachus L'Simcha U'L'Schek. So Deibishter's Schek, what's Deibishter's entertainment? By the way, why is it in Gashmias that something new causes entertainment? Because that's the way it's in Ruchnias. It's not because in Gashmias that's the way it's in Ruchnias. Because in Ruchnias, the Eibishter has a concept in the Nesav HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Leidira B'Tachtenim, and that Schek is by creating world and making Yesh back into Ayin. Therefore, in Gashmias, there's an enjoyment from something new. To make something new on the face of the world, Yismach Hashem b'maisef. And he says, what is lamata, the concept down here, what does it mean, Yesh is bottled to the ayin? Because in Ruchnias, you have Yesh Mi'ayin too, but it's Ruchnias. Here we're talking about Hashem made Yesh Mi'ayin Gashmi, and now He wants the Gashmi to become bottled to Hashem. So he said, what does that mean in Gashmias? Ubet or Gashmias Ruchnias. And he says like this, Al Be'emes L'mayla Gam B'chinas Ruchnias, there's also Yesh and Ayin. Chochma Ma'ayin Timoti. Chochma is a Yesh that comes in the level of Ayin. So Ruchnias, even in Atzilus. B'chinas Yesh, Shein Loch Eisel Momat. There is, the Gemara says, there's no grass down here that doesn't have a mazel that hits it and makes it, tells it to grow. V'amazel Mekabe Mishmori Eifanim. Where's the mazel get its chayis from? From the sediment of the malachim. V'eifanim they get from chayis HaKodesh. The chayis get from the srafim. Shamazel or b'chinas yesh, this level of mazel is compared to the higher levels, is yesh compared to the eifanim, and eifanim is a yesh shegabi chayis HaKodesh. So this is the concept. Even in Ruchnias, the higher level compared to a lower level is ayin and yesh. Yesh mi'ayin, even Ruchnias. Because even like we said, the world of Bria, the spiritual world of Bria, is yesh mi'ayin from Atzilus. Everything is relative. But the Alter Rebbe is saying over here, normally here, Bittul Hayesh means Gashmias. Gashmias should be bottled to Ruchnias. But here the Alter Rebbe is saying that exists even in Ruchnias. Bittul Hayesh. The Gemara means about ornaments of an animal. But here Chassidus interprets it, all the people of song, shir, song, goes out with song. Shashir avazimno b'chinas simcha v'tainuk. Shir on zimmer, music, makes a person happy, entertaining. Shir b'chinas yitzios v'narteikum, which is the concept of them going out of their protective shield, which is the kelim shelahem. Hamagbilim eisam, that limit the or. In Ruchnias, you also have or and keli. You have or and keli in Ruchnias. The or is the ayin, and the keli is what the yesh that limits the or. So therefore, what's entertainment of something new? When the or, you'd see it's mitzrayim. When the or is not restricted and limited anymore by the keli, that's the gilui of bittul of yesh to the ayin. When the keli is bottled to the ayin. So even though in Atzilus, the kelim are also alukus, the or is alukus, the kelim is alukus. But relatively speaking, the kelim of Atzilus still conceal the or. In other words, the kelim of Atzilus are very unique. Remember, we gave the mashal Tzemach Tzedek gives in Shesh Mitzvah Tefillah. Put colorless water into a color container. Right? So you have a lineup of 7 colors. By the way, 7 middays correspond to 7 primary colors. Okay, so let's say you have, for argument's sake, you have yellow, green, orange, red. Now you take water, you put it in the red glass, it looks red. Now, the truth of the matter, it limits it that it looks red, but it's not really red. In other words, in Bria, the Kalim actually limit the Elokus. They change it. Here, it only changes it, the Kalim and Atzilus only change it as far as the outside appearance of it. But the water doesn't become red. What? Oh.
No keli, no or?
No keli, no or. By definition, light needs how much? Even infinite or, yeah, it's still limited. It's Ein Sof, not Ein Leitchila. How much the sun shines, yeah, is limited. The sun only shines X amount of power.
Makor is limited?
Sure. Zman and Mokim by definition are limited.
It's constantly giving or?
You said Zman?
No, Makor.
Ma'or. Yeah. But sun gives sunlight.
24 hours.
Yeah, yeah. But it's only giving sunlight. It's not giving candlelight or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still limited. That's why or shows on the Ma'or. If or would be unlimited, how would you know what the makar is? So even the sun only reveals sunlight, not starlight. Whatever, I mean. Shamaz, okay. Shekol chayes nimshach lenevroim. Any chayes that comes into worlds are orders for kelim, are order and keli. Now the keli, by definition, limits the order. Therefore, vayidei hashir she'emin malachim. What did he say to Gemara? Call Bali Ashir, the malachim when they sing songs, they go out of their limitation because simcha breaks barriers. They go out of their kelim because over there is a higher level. So the Alter Rebbe is saying very simple. Hashem took ayin, made it yesh. The purpose is to make the yesh back into the ayin. How do you do that? By making the yesh bottle. And he says this exists not only in Gashmias, Bittul Yesh, Gashmias to Ruchnias. In Ruchnias also you have Or and Kalim. Those are limited. The Kali limits the Or. If you want to make unlimited Or, it has to go out of the vessel.
So what happened with Shira and Kalim? They broke.
Right. That was because there was too much Or for the Kali.
And it was,
Well, Kellys were not as strong.
they were small or they just broke?
No, it says in Chassidus says the expression about Tehu, Eris merubim v'kelim mu'atim. A lot of or and limited kelim, but everything is relative. Any or that's too much for the keli will break the keli. Take a glass jar, fill it up with water to the top, and put it into the freezer, and leave it there for 5 hours. You'll have to clean up the glass. Yes? Because it expands. So there's too much odd. The keli, the glass can't handle it, it's going to break.
But the plastic,
What?
but the plastic glass won't.
Because it expands.
About the
So
shoe,
that clay is stronger.
Plastic?
Yeah. Relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking. In certain aspects, glass is stronger.
It seems that clay is more important than ore.
Yeah. Without the kli, you don't have any art.
I mean, about the Shuba,
If there's no limitation, without the limitation on the sun, you would have nothing. It would be too much, you get nothing.
Like back.
If a brilliant professor teaches on his level to little kids, they get nothing. Nothing. Through limitation, then they get what they get. What?
about the Shuba will return, and now his Nashon is on fire. And he's doing this factor, this, he's gonna bust his cable. If he drank too much water.
By the way,
It makes his clay stronger.
no, by the way, if they go too fast, they're going to drop it.
Yes.
When you go gradually and you expand the keli a little bit, then you get a lot. If you then the keli breaks. Bali tshuva, I can't say all of them. A lot of Bali tshuva that they always, take the plunge and they shoot. Yeah, that doesn't last long
But it's usually like they don't.
because that's why they have to be slowed down. Whoever is mashpi on them must make them slow down because then they'll have nothing. Like this, you go up. You're expanding the keli. You're gonna, it's gonna bust it.
So any burst of ore, sudden burst of ore is not.
It's not always good. It depends how much burst and yeah. Everything has to be, when it's gradual, then the keli is expanding.
Process.
Then it lasts.
Everything is a process.
Everything's a process.
Except when the Mashiach is here.
But by the way, this level about Shuvah, even if the process goes slow, but the fact that he's in that direction, he's there already. Like the Rebbe says, the Gemara says, if somebody comes to purify, we help him, right? Well, the Rebbe said, doesn't say a guy who purifies himself. Haba, he's only coming. But like we said, how far is east from west? Turn around. You could be going 1,000 miles east, and all of a sudden you turn around, so you're going west. You're 1,000 miles away from but you're going west. You're going in the right direction.
The question in mind is why would too much of the good all of a sudden burst the cave? It's already good. It's already kedusha. Well, how could kedusha
But Kedusha needs a keli.
Yes.
If you break the keli, no good. You have exceptional cases, Rabbi Elazar ben Dudaya, that, but those are exceptional cases. Normally, if it's, too much good is, you know what happens? You know this, whoever you're a parent. When the kids are playing too laughing, eventually they're going to cry.
Yeah.
Right? It's just too much. Cool it, because then you're going to cry. It's good, because too much good that doesn't have a keli is not going to last. It can't last. And therefore, la'at. It has to go gradual.
So is it correct to understand there was so much light above, and it was not the restriction from above, it was the creation of the kli that was able to create all these lower
Correct.
world. But it wasn't the Simpson from above.
Well, the original Tzimtzum, was a complete removal. And then, even then, Hashem limits the or based on the level of the keli.
But did Hashem limits it, or the kli?
Hashem made the keli to limit. Who made the keli? Hashem made the keli in this limited form. When Hashem made the 10 spheres of Atzilus, this is Chochmah, the Kli HaChochmah, okay, the keli of Chochmah. Then he made the or of Chochmah. Then he keli of Bina. So Hashem created the keli based on the amount of light that has to go into that thing.
Now you also say above all the way above, there is yes.
If you want to pack something, first you need the box,
Yes.
and based on the size of the box, that's what you can pack.
How much you can pay. And you said in the higher world also is yesh mi'ayin.
Correct.
And all the way up there is no matter. It cannot be yesh mi'ayin.
But there's spiritual yesh and spiritual ayin, not physical yesh mi'ayin. Chochmah is a limitation. It's one of the 10 spheres. It's limited in Chochmah. Compared to the level higher than Chochmah, which has no limitations, it's just, so that's yesh mi'ayin. It's a spiritual yesh.
There also this
Yeah.
applies.
Yeah.
The lower one is coming from the higher.
100%. That's the shtalshlus of ilah v'olu, cause and effect. Atzilus Chochmah goes into Bina, into Das, and then Malchus of Atzilus goes into Chochmah Bria, and like the chain. What?
I wanted to say, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he broke the Kalim, he did that because he wanted to recreate something that he felt would be more doable for us.
Shviras HaKelim of Tehu was part of the plan of Hashem.
Right.
Hashem made Tehu, right? Why did he make Oris, Merubim, and Kelim Mu'at? Why did he make a lot of Or and very little Kelim? Because the Eibishter wanted that the Nitzutzah should fall down here, and it should be Dira B'Tachtainim. The higher the thing, the lower it falls. Like, why did Hashem make Shlosh Chibsat Tmeis?
Everything was planned.
Yeah, it's all part of the master plan. If Hashem wanted, he could have made the Or on Keli of Tehu that it should work.
Like a puzzle that everything fits.
Yeah, it's all part of the master plan. What's more unique than that is when the Rebbe brings on Ayem Yem, the famous Vart of the Baal Shem Tov, that a leaf is turning over from one place to the next. It's not coincidental. Not only is there a cheshbon, this particular leaf at this particular time in this particular space. But then it's called Baal Shem Tov said more. This is relevant to the entire master plan of the whole creation. That means 5,783 years ago, when the Eibishter made the world, in the master plan of the world was that 5,783 years later, there will be a wind at this place and this time, and that particular leaf is going to turn over from place to place.
So Bob Rabbi that dies in New Zealand, so in other words,
Is relevant to the entire, well, now science woke up, they're a little late, but now science says if you go like this and you create a wind, it has an effect all over the world. Torah said that 3,000 years ago. I mean, even longer. So everything it's from Hashem. Hashem wanted that it should be too much earth and too little kalim, and then it should. That's part of the plan. Why? Because now our avodah is to take Gashmi and make it bottle to Ruchnis. Now the Rebbe is saying that Ruchnis also have Yesh Mi'ayin. The bittul, and he says, the bottom line, in Ikara bittul Yesh La'ayin, where do you find the primary bittul of Yesh Mi'ayin is in the time of Korbanis. By Korbanis is the main bittul of Yesh Ta'ayin. Why? That's why, it's not relevant here, but we mentioned this last night by the class. Reich Nichayach, the good smell of a korban is that Hashem told you to do it and you did it. Yeah? So the Alter Rebbe in different Maimorim asks, so any mitzvahs like that, why happens by korbanos? So there's a certain unique level of korbanos that has within it all of the other mitzvahs. And he says like this, Pamaita korbanos shenefesh habamis comes in the level of short of the smur. What's the source of a physical animal? The short of the merkava, right? By day have korban olav and echlal is b'shorsha. And this physical animal, by bringing it as a korban, becomes one with the short of the merkava. Lochein ha'yashir ala korban. Therefore, where did they sing songs? In the Beis HaMikdash when they brought korbanos. You don't sing songs when you put on tefillin, or you do lulav and esrig, or you leben Shabbos licht. Where was there part of the mitzvah of korbanos? Like we say, Kohanim b'avodasam, Leviim b'duchanim, Yisrael b'mamadam. Part of the avoid of korbanos is the singing of the Leviim. Why? Because the singing of the Leviim, like you just explained, the song, Kobali shir yaitzim b'shir, how do you get out of your kelim to the level of shira? So if the whole inyan of his chachus, something new, meaning leaving the keli, that's done through the through singing. That's why by korbanos the Leviim sang.
That's why First Minyan sings Friday morning.
Everything in kedusha exists in klipa. From the Leviim singing in kedusha and Beis HaMikdash, when it comes down, all the way down, below Shalosh Klipas HaTameis, below Shalosh, that's when you come to the first minyan singing.
You asked for it.
Yeah, of course, he knew he was going to get it. But you see, his question revealed a new aspect. That there's something lower than Shalosh Klipas HaTameis. So he says, L'chein o yashir ala korban. Like it says, Misham o eila l'mayla mayla drei amayla. It goes to the highest of levels, which is Ari da'ahu kurbanin, which is the level of the Ari. The Gemara says in Yuma, then days of Shlomo HaMelech, we learned this one here, we mentioned it last night also. A gacheles, a coal, came down from heaven, crouched like a lion. This is what the Gemara says in Yuma. In the days of Shlomo HaMelech, nafal gacheles min hashamayim, Kari, crouched like a lion, and that was the fire from above that consumed the korbanos. Which means this is now, Pnei Shar is at the left. Pnei Aryeh is Yamin. Right? That means when you take the Shar down here, and it becomes Nichl in small, then you have the level of Yamin also, which is higher than small. He says, Kamei Shalamata. Who brought the korban? Kohen Isha Chesed. So the animal, which is short, which is Gvura, was makrif through Isha Chesed. So this Aryeh, the short and Aryeh is on the right side of the Merkava, short is on the left. So it's Chesed and Gvura. So he says, the short that you brought as a korban, which revealed, connected it to the short of the Merkava, but then it was consumed by the level of Ari of the Merkava. And even Gavaya, Mal Gavaya, even higher. Chesed Elyon. And now the Alter Rebbe says, so what's the union of Karbanis? Taking Klippa, elevating it to Kedusha, to the highest levels. So now he says, that's what davening is all about. Because davening is instead of Karbanis. We discussed this also last the class. Davening is instead of Karbanis. Kehina Neida, it's known, it says in Medrash like this. Michal Sara Gadol, Michal, there's, Michal, there's Gabriel, the guys up there. Yeah, Michal Sara Gadol, Makiv Nishmeseim Shal Yisrael Agabi HaMizbeach. He sacrifices Jewish souls up there on the Mizbeach, up there. Like it says, Ishe Yisrael Usfilosam. Okay? Now what does that mean? Obviously, there's no physical entity up there called a neshama. Right? There is. It's a spiritual entity. And there's no fiery mizbeach up there. What does it mean? What Michal does, he connects neshamas up there in the fire of a higher level of godliness. He says, Lamata, Vishe Yisrael Silasum Lamata, Islabish Aguf Gashmi. What's the union of davening? To awaken an unbelievable Ava, Chesed Hashem. Haba Mamayla B'Tfilasam, that comes from above, La'leisim L'Kasha Nafshim Shal Yisrael B'Elokim Chayim, U'Ladavka B'Rinta Baruch Mamish. What's the union of Karbanis? So he says, in Gashmias, you take the physical Karban, you connect it to the short of the Merkava, which is connected to the RDA of the Merkava. It goes all the way up. In Ruchnias, you have the same thing. Michal is Makav Nishbesem Shal Yisrael, meaning he gets them consumed in the godly elokus, a higher level. And down here, that's the level of Tefillah. What's the level of Tefillah? Like we said last night, binding connection. You're binding the person to Hashem through Tefillah, like a carbon. That means it reaches the same level as carbon.
When they say the fire came down from and it consumed the
Karbanis.
so there was an actual fire there.
Yeah,
So
but
you
it came down into Gashmias. But there is a spiritual Ari.
Right.
That's what Michal is doing. What?
I will tell him.
Tell him. Tell him he burns people alive. That's what the Michal did. He took Nishamas. He can sit on his back. Okay, and he says, Zeh lachmi l'ishai, my bread for my fire. So he says, l'ishai le'eshali. Hashem says, it's my fire. Meaning, shesarf l'beredem elai. Hainu asrafim, which is yukayed eish. Berda belibam tameh b'tshuka nifla. Gets the neshamas to have this unbelievable tshuka. Uba'ava azeh kirish be'eish. Libot, and again, the Alter Rebbe was saying, just like there's Bital Yesh and Gashmias, there's Bital Yesh Beruchnias. What is Bital Yesh Beruchnias? Taking Moshe this level of Neshamas and making them consumed in a higher level of Elokus. That's Bital. It's consumed, not physically burnt in a fire, but in a spiritual fire, it's being consumed.